So, my one song has gotten a few views, and some people seem to really enjoy it, even though it's my first attempt at music. So, I'm just going to go through the file and show some behind the scenes, basically, on how it works. I really like looking at behind the scenes, so I hope you find this interesting. I'm going to isolate the first part of it, which is just the wood blocks. This is the main melody throughout the song, and it's something, I think it's called a Mixolydian scale. But basically, I just did the first four notes of it, then repeated that, but each time moving it one note up the scale, always making sure to stay in this scale range, as you see here. And it's just a unique sounding scale, and I like it. At the beginning here, it has a lot of reverb, and as it goes on, it doesn't only fade in volume-wise, but it fades in reverb-wise. So I think if we look here, as you can see, the dry amount slowly increases to 100%, or slightly higher than that actually. So not only it gets louder, but it goes from really muddy to pretty crisp. And so that's the wood blocks. Next part is the beat and bass line. We open that up. It's just a very simple and that's the main beat that plays throughout the song. One thing you may notice is whenever switching something, instead of having a build-up or something, I just cut out the drums. I'll show this again here. And I really like how that sounds. Now the next part is the bass. It's just a bass sound that I took from the presets. It's Bass Punch 01. I forget where that is. It's either that one or that one. I forget which one, but it doesn't really matter. So at the start it just fades in volume wise, there's no reverb automation here, but it's the same sort of rising pattern. The same sort of scale thing, except this time instead of having one note like that, it's two smaller notes. And that's basically the bass. It fades in, and then when it fades out, it just cuts out, and it has two fades in throughout the song. The next part is the hi-hats, and these parts weren't done in the beat editor, it was done in the piano roll. And I chose to do it in the piano roll so it has that little rolling thing. So let's turn everything back on now so I can go through basically how I structured this song. I structured it by just having it open up with the main melody, the main repeating pattern just fading in both with reverb and volume. Then the drum comes in. And this kind of sets the rhythm. They build on top of each other, they're not out of sync, but they work together. Then the drums cut out, and then the bass slowly fades in. The bass is a lot more harsh and quick than it. So it has a bit of a contrast, but it still does the same exact note pattern. And it cuts out again, and introduces the hi-hats. Now, I really like adding in the drums in after the original drums. And of course, they cut out with everything else. And then since we have all our layers together, I thought, might as well remove the first layer. So I did that. Then just the drums for a bit. I really like the drums. But then we have the same exact fade in as the beginning to kind of tie it back into everything else. I really like reusing this fade in. But this time it has the drums. And also the bass fade in, but this time it also has the hi-hat roll. And at this part, the notes get progressively more and more, well, the wood blocks at least, they have more and more reverb on them, so they sound like they're moving far away or the room's expanding. And then it's just the wood blocks again, as it fades off in both volume, and it just gets a butt ton of reverb at this part. One special part about the ending, as you may have heard, at the very end, it doesn't play the last note, and it's not because it's too quiet, it's because I removed it. You can't hear it at all here. I'm just gonna edit the... Just gonna edit that. That should make it so we can hear it. Nope. I'll just edit a previous one. What the heck is happening here? Volume. So that's what it normally sounds like, but I just changed it for the very end to kind of break the cycle that's been going through the entire song. And I really like that. So that's basically how I made the track Awake. I'm not a music professional. I didn't know what I was doing for half of this. I was just putting stuff together, and it sounded nice. And I'm glad some of you enjoyed that too. So this has been a behind the scenes on my track Awake. I may make more songs in the future. We'll just have to see how it goes. But that's all for now.